Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Anton. Uh, I'm from Indonesia. For you who where's Indonesia is about 1 hour from Singapore. We are located in Southeast Asia. So basically, it's a long way to come here. And this is my third conference already. I'm always happy to come to ERPNext conference. It's always remind me of the first conference that I had in Mumbai. That was the very first conference that I see with Rusabs and the other team, and I was quite surprised. I mean, like usually every ERP conference is full of service provider. They try to show what they have, what they doing and stuff like that. But at the first ERP Next conference is so much different. I see lots of happy people who implement ERP Next, and they're so grateful. And then they say, "Hey, look, this is a nice product, and we use this, and we are quite happy with that." So basically, they're volunteering to be the speaker for the conference, and I found that wow, it's a very amazing. It's something new that I think myself I experienced that first time, and you can say now I'm the ERPNext evangelist, as you can say. So I'm just following the way before me that speaking, that promoting ERPNext. That's what I'm doing now. So my topic is how to show you. I mean, like how several of my implementation in Indonesia. We have a distribution company, one manufacturing company, and one service-based company. So it's just to show and give you some idea how actually flexible it is on the system it is. So I'm basically from Indonesia. I'm Anton. I work at the PT Rido Bumi Sejahtera. We are fruits and vegetable importers. Basically, we import fruits and vegetables from the rest of the world to Indonesia. And we start using ERPNext from version 4. So basically, that was quite a long time ago. And now, presently, we are using version 7. We are upgrading ourselves, we are implementing ourselves, and we are quite happy with that. Basically, we have branches in Jakarta, capital city. We have branches in Surabaya, and we also have a like company in China for the packing house. So, and then after several years of using ERPNext, we are also now a service provider ourselves. We are trying to promote ERPNext usage in Indonesia or Asia, basically. So, my story, my company story was why I need to change. So before we used to have quite lots of software to use. Let's say we have one for accounting, we have one for manufacturing, we have another software for HR, and we have another software for the stock keeping. So basically, as the business grows, we have quite more transaction coming in. It's hard to maintain like so many platform because basically you will have to do a double entry. First, you do the stocks entry, then you do the manufacturing entry, then you have to go inside the general ledger again for the accounting. So we found as our business grows, so does our need for help. So basically, we're recruiting more people just to make the business go and go, and it's always difficult to train them because they're new, they don't know anything. You have to train them to tell you them what to do. And the worst thing in developing economy is when they start getting better, they leave for a better salary. So okay, start from beginning again. And then well, the closed source is always limited. It's always okay. I sell you as it is. This is the feature. This is the product. When I come to them and I say, "Oh, can we customize?" and they say no. Well, I'm not into the big SAP ERP system like that because we are small to medium business growing. So we don't really have budget for big how to say ERP implementation. But so that's why we have to find lots of software just to cater our needs. So basically, you're finding flexible solution on IT. And of course, closed source, you cannot evolve since it's just like a ready product. You use it, you don't like it, then so what? You cannot do anything about it. And because it's also we implement that on around 1990s. Actually, it's already quite old. So our accounting system before is still using the DOS with the Fox Pro. So it's getting more and more data coming in. It's getting more and more slow. So what we do, we have to upgrade a better server, and then another bigger server, a bigger server, and then what else? Just to do the computation and calculation. So before using ERPNext, I do a little bit evaluation that time. So I was completely sure about I'm going open source. So that time we are trying the first was Adempier, was a fork of Compere before. We have the first service provider in Indonesia before, and then next I try Odo, and then the last one is ERPNext. So basically with Adempier, I found it quite confusing. It's a lot of menu, a lot of features. For me myself, I don't think it's that nice. So since it's quite confusing, I kind of feel it's quite difficult. So I give up in doing customization. So if I cannot understand what the program is, so I don't do it. So and then the next is Odo. At the first look, Odo is very simple. I like the layout of the Odo. But then once you go deeper and you try to understand what is Odo, and then you found that actually, okay, it's modular. Okay, that's good. That means you need to add more module. It's like Lego. They always say you can just add something on it. But then the problem is the module always commercial. You have to pay to get it work. There is no, how to say, out of the box module that gives you the same function that I need. You always have to come to the provider, and then you will have to ask, and they will always say that, okay, you need this module to work, this much money. And then, of course, if you look at the business, how many modules that you need, that's the cost of the implementation itself. And then at, I think when I started from Odo 7. So and then I found that Odo 8, Odo 9, they're becoming more and more commercial. So, but actually, this is my experience. I myself, actually, I signed up for Odo. I paid money to implement Odo that time. That's already decided. I will just use Odo that time. And then uh, during the development phase, they say it will take around 1 or 2 year. Well, actually, it's 1.5 year to make the Odo that really customizable for my company. And I use a small program. So basically, I use a small program so that my business still work while the Odo is being developed. And then that program happens to be ERPNext. So basically, I'm using ERPNext is one kind of accidental use. So I was actually using ERPNext just as a buffer before my Odo start. But then at the end, I found like, hey, this is already almost everything that what I need. So why I should Odo anymore? So at the end, I don't use Odo. I still have my Odo, but I'm not using it. Where should I implement? I don't know. But that's my story. So this is specific business process of my company. So what's special about it is we have a packaging house in China, and we always buy material in raw. So basically, we have kind of like a small manufacturing here. Well, you have to combine the raw material with the packaging, with the labor cost. It becomes the finished goods here. So then we need to ship it to Indonesia. Of course, when you ship it, you need to have add something like a document fee, import tax charges, freight charges, land transport, everything until you reach the warehouse. And then from the warehouse, you still have to ship it to Jakarta or Surabaya. So basically, this is what we require from an ERP system. And this one, as you can see, ERPNext already have it out of the box. We call it the landed cost voucher. And actually, my company use this a lot. So basically, with this landed cost voucher, we can determine the cost of goods sold in China, the cost of goods sold when you ship it to Indonesia, the cost of goods sold when it reach Surabaya warehouse or in Jakarta warehouse. So I like the system because it can give me exact costing of any goods that I have in my warehouse. That's the thing. And then we also have a cost center because we have a multiple branch. We always want to know, okay, so is the Jakarta is making money or the store one is making money or store two is making money? So we use the heavily with the cost center of the ERPNext. I think this is the special things about my business that ERPNext can really help already actually really help me with this. So this is for that I created like a small doc type called the document checklist. So basically it gives you all the scheduling on how many containers is arriving, what kind of product, when it's going to arrive, and what's the cost, what's the problem. This is my document checklist. And this is the checking module. Basically the checking module is to track any error from the landed cost voucher because it's a quite how to say special process. So basically, you have to add something on, and you can add it several times. So basically, this is the tracking error for any landed cost operation that I have. Then basically, we create this like a report center for our operation. Let's say purchase receipt, sales, or item and stuff like that. So this is what we made for our company. And okay, that's for my company. The next is one of example, my first implementation. It's my friend company. Well, actually, many people tell you should not work with friends, but yeah, this is my friend company. I already got the permission to show you. So what is Delta Kita? Delta Kita is the largest contractor and distributor for ABB Electric in Indonesia. So they have 9,000 products in the catalog, and then they are implementing ERPNext since 2006. So this is their client. There's some of their clients that they have a contractor for electrical in Conrad Hotel or some mall or in the Ritz-Carlton Jakarta. So why do they need to change? So basically they are using three software for businesses. So first is they are using a GL for account. Is it clear? Can you see this? Okay. So they're using three business software. One is a GL for accounting. Magic is for their operation. It's a custom-made product, and Excel for reporting. So what happened with them is like since they are using the product since quite a long time ago, the business as the business process grows, so does the duplicate process increase. So they always have to double entry all the time, and every time you ask for report, then it takes like weeks to create just one report. And then the worst is the provider for the GL and Magic, they're already out of business since 1995. So you cannot look for the developer anymore. They're gone. So this is the business flow. So basically, we have this very normal business process for trading, purchasing, stock, selling, account. So basically, you buy, you hold, you sell, and then you bill them. But then what's special for them is they have a subcontract. So they subcontract their manufacturing process to some other party. But then they also manufacture some of the things themselves for the project. And of course, everything has to link to the project because it have to do with the deadline, when is the project going to be. So this is one of the specific process, subcontract process. So basically, they will have the procurement division will buy all the raw material. In ERPNext, it will be like incoming product receive, but then they will have to send it to the subcontractors. So ERPNext has, I think, quite a good job in handling this kind of contractors. They are using the manual process. So whenever they want to have a subcontract, they will do a stock transfer from warehouse, raw material warehouse to the subcontractor warehouse. So then they can track all the material that is already being shipped to the subcontractors. And then the subcontractor just has to add the supporting raw material. And then this is the thing. We cannot use the normal production process for ERPNext, but then I can use like a mini production process. We call it repack. So basically, you will add this 1, 2, 3, 4 material into a finished goods, and you transfer it to the finished goods warehouse. So that's like a manual production process. You cannot use the normal production order in ERPNext for this because it's quite specific, but actually we can make it like that. And then after that, there's always the subcontract fee that, the contractors will always bill the accounts division. So this is one of their special, how to say, yeah, their special business process. And of course, everything is connected to the task because you have to know when is the deadline, how it's going to be, and of course, it's always linked to the project. And then, so basically for this business process, we don't do lots of customization. We just add this title. So basically they know which document goes to who, but actually they are using normal ERPNext transfer and repack process. So that's the nice thing of ERPNext. It's a ready-made solution. And then they have assembly and disassembly. This is on the manufacturing side. Basically, assembly is just like a normal production process where you add 1, 2, 3 material into one finished product, and then you install it at site. And then you have the disassembly product. Basically, it's a like reverse BOM. Well, we don't really use reverse BOM because their product is so much custom. So every project will have a different configuration of the product because they are making it based by project. So they're kind of using a manual. Of course, back again, stock transfer repack. It's like a one handy solution to control all the manufacturing, the assembly, and disassembly. But basically, this is a BOM and reverse BOM in production solution. Okay. And of course, back again for that, yeah, we just have to add the status and the title for this. We don't really customize much for them because the usage of the system, they're already happy. So, and then, okay, this is the thing that we have to kind of make it customization because they have a down payment and retention. But because of the tax requirement in our area, basically this is the original ERPNext flow. So basically you have a sales invoice, you will record account receivable, let's say full amount, sales, and tax. And then you do all the partial payment in the payment gateway. But then because of the tax requirement for our country, so you always have to make one sales invoice becoming 3 sales invoice with a different due dates and different tax. So basically why we made this is because you have to break the tax in every sales invoice. And the normal ERPNext process, I found we cannot do it now. But this is like a specific partial sales invoice. But the nice thing is when you break it like this, you can have another deadline for the down payment, you have another deadline for closing, and you have another date for the retention. So one project, one project can have 3 sales invoice with 3 different deadline due date for the sales invoice. So for that, we just make a small change, custom script in this, if it's down payment or it's retention. So we just make a very small change in ERPNext. We don't do big changes, we just do a custom script. And then of course, specific, it's the print format. Well, the beauty of ERPNext is the print format is also customizable. If you know CSS, you can just do it like that. So basically this one, print format, is a print format from 2 tables. So 2 sales invoice, but they make it as one print format, one big format. Why they need this is because this is the main product which is being offered. This is the next alternative product. If you don't like this one, then you can choose this one. So they always make 2 quotations and then they link it as a one big quotation and then they give it to the customer. So you can choose this one or alternative that one. And this is our tax, how to say? Uh, this is our tax invoice. So this is what do you call that? Formal Indonesian tax invoicing. So you can also do this kind of thing in the print format. Basically, it's if you know CSS, you can do it's limitless. You don't have to how to say? Yeah, you just have to know that you can do any print format that you like, or if you can change anything. Okay, next is service-based company. This is the one that I also implement. So it's a truly a service-based company. They're very new, so they are using Excel and Google Spreadsheet. And as every transaction, they also have a many duplicate process. But somehow at that point, when I come to them, they say they're happy because Google Docs, you can collaborate, you can work online. So they think it's a kind of good things. And when I say, okay, of course, within ERPNext, you can also work online. You can also put it on the web, and then you can edit it online, and then you can see who's editing who. So why with the problem is they have a workflow, specific workflow, but then they're not enforcing the workflow. Of course, with the Excel and Google Drive, how can you enforce the workflow? So they always have some mistype or miss in like they do it wrong, and people keep pointing, oh, you're doing it, no, it's mine. Of course they say it's not mine, it's somebody else. So I talked to them and I kind of convinced them, okay, let's just move to ERPNext. So this is their business process. As you can see, it's much different than the normal purchasing, stock, selling accounts. This is a business process that job order. So basically job order, whenever there's have an incoming shipment, they'll create a new job order in ERPNext. Basically, it's a sales order. Then they goes to a document module. This is the yellow part here is the customization module. So whenever they create the new SO, sales order, they create a new document module. So what does document module do? It collect the required document. It arrange all the shipping schedule when it's coming in. What's the document required? What is the commodity? uh, and then they arrange the schedule of the flight because they are doing customs clearance, and of course time is very essential for them. Let's say if you have a ship on the dock for one day, you have to pay like lots of money for demurrage and anything. And then they use the cost center and they use the deposit note. So basically they're giving a deposit note. They are because everything in the port you have to do it by cash. So basically they are using like an kind of like a modification of expense claim. So they give money to their employee in real cash money. The employee will bring it to the port authority. They will pay it, and they will get the document, and they will bring it back to the office. So this is the deposit note is the way to control the employee. So let's say you got $10,000, you have to return it. Let's say 9,000. Okay, 1,000 because 9,000 is for the document fee. So before they have quite a lot of loss in that because they give you a receipt when you bring it back. Something is lost, it's manual based. So and then from that, after all of this process, they have to arrange transport to send the the goods itself to the customer warehouse. Then they can bill the customer. It becomes the income. All these things become the cost. So this is all the process. And of course, the last one is they still have to do the between the deadline because every business process, I think many we are using lots of projects just for the task because task is I think quite a good way to make your deadline when you have to do it, when is the deadline, what you should do if it's late, what you should do if it's earlier than that. So for that, we make them a logistic module. So logistic module is basically the document management, deposit note, and then this is the other things, the reports that they need for their operations. This is the document management for the logistics. So this is the customer name, the commodity, the vessel, the BL number, ETA, date, simple stuff. And this is the deposit note for the one that I say. So basically, sometimes they can go to this amount. They will give this cash to the employee, and then they will bring it to the port. And this is all the fees incurred for the release of the cargo. So back to this Frappe framework. Well, as you can see, I show you three different kind of businesses, three different kinds of flow. So I think for me myself, it's a very flexible framework. It can adapt to your business flow, any business that you need. And it's like how to say, it's based on the sites, but and every sites ERPNext is just one of the apps on the sites. But then basically you can put any customization you have, but then it will not affect the whole site when you upgrade. So that's the beauty of Frappe. You can always upgrade to the latest version, but then you can always have your customization intact like that. So why you have to contribute? First, for me personally, ERPNext helped me. So I have the obligation to return something. And then I think it's a real open source project. It's not driven by the commercial needs. It's really from community to community. It's really driven by the community because then it's the power of community who makes these things grows until now. It's batteries included, no strings attached. So basically you get all the feature. There's no like professional version. There is none as a community version. We have that when you start growing, they start making this professional version. This is the community one. So there's no like that. But of course, it's really depend on community. So it will grow based on community. That's why Rusabs always say, okay, pull request. So that pull request determines where the ERPNext is going next. And then, I don't know, I'm not good at programming, but this is what we contribute for the ERPNext. It's a Docker containerization. So basically, we make a Docker-based container. We separate between the MariaDB, Nginx, Frappe, Redis, and everything. So we make it as a self-containing. So what's the special of this is we always try to make it up to date, and we try to use it in our own cloud-based solution. So as you can see, this was 3 days ago. We always keep it to the latest version. And yeah, on the Docker Hub, we are not number one, but we are number two on the Docker Hub. So I guess that's a different way of contributing, but yeah, this is one of the example how you can contribute to ERPNext development. Maybe not from the core, maybe not from the program, but maybe something else, as long as you contribute. Okay, I think that's all.